Jenna, what have I always said about Big Ben? That is a savvy, smart individual, and he gets it. He understands what's happening here. He understands. And did you see the little Freudian slip? We're going into the number one team. And then he's like, oh, yeah, damn, the Titans. Okay, yeah, the Chiefs, they're the number one team. And we don't have a chance. And while Broussard, they are not 20-point underdogs. They are the biggest underdogs in Wild Card Weekend history. And that is indicative of this fact. And you're going to say, oh, Nick, you're being hyperbolic again. But just listen to me here. This is the single biggest mismatch in Wild Card Weekend history. Not just because of the point spread, but because previously, up until last year, a team such as the Steelers would not be in the playoffs as the 7th seed. And a team such as the Chiefs, a top 2 seed, would not be playing Wild Card Weekend. So it is not over the top to say it's the biggest mismatch in Wild Card Weekend history. It is not over the top to say what Big Ben just said, that they have no chance. And I said better than a bye yesterday, and the only real pushback I got, Broussard, was, oh, what about injuries? You don't get hurt on the bye. Yes. And I thought about that, and I was like, you know what? That's a fair point. And that's why, Broussard, if I were Andy Reid, I would consider resting Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill this week. Make sure they're primed and ready to go for when the playoffs actually begin. It's ridiculous.
Nuts.
Allow
nuts.
me. Oh, just a moment. Just a moment, my friends.
That's one of your worst takes
when they played
ever.
The first time.
That might be your worst take.
Okay, well, let me just give a little. Let me give.
Listen, not great.
As the show's historian, let me give you guys just a little bit of data. The first time they played the Steelers, did Travis Kelce play? He did not. The first time they played the Steelers, did Tyreek Hill play? Technically, but not really. 2 catches, limited snap count because they were both coming off the COVID list. Did that hurt them? No, they won 36-10. Oh, Nick, you would never rest a player for a playoff game. Oh, well, before I worked with Wilds and Broussard, but I was working with Jenna, when the Chiefs were playing the Houston Texans, an overmatched Texans team in the playoffs, they sat Chris Jones. Precautionary sitting of Chris Jones. So he was there and ready for when the playoffs really began in the AFC Championship game that year. And by the way, he made the biggest difference in that game. So it is not unprecedented. It is not ridiculous. Tyreek Hill got dinged in that last game, as did Travis Kelce. So Big Ben is correct. Smart Big Ben. Big Ben, by the way, looking a little slimmer in the face. Good for him. I've always liked him. So yeah, I agree with everything he's saying, Broussard.
Yeah.
Everything.
You look, I was agreeing with you until about halfway through your rant. You just went off the rails. Yeah. All right, there is no way you don't play Kelce and Hill. Look, you can play them in the first half, blow the Steelers out, as you're saying they will, and then rest them in the second half if you want. But you got to start the game with those two. And Jenna hit it on the head. These are mind games, and you're clearly falling for him, Nick, right? Big Ben is in psychological warfare. On 2 counts. For his own players, he's saying, look, and he's right. We're playing with house money, guys. We got absolutely nothing to lose. In fact, we've already won. Just the fact that we're here in the playoffs, just the fact that we didn't have a losing season makes us winners. Let's go out there and have fun. Let's go out there and let it all hang out. And a lot of times when you do that, you play your best. There's no pressure whatsoever. Right. On the other hand, he wants Kansas City to see these interviews and go, even obviously on the surface level, they're going to be like, no, we're into it. We can't take anybody lightly. But in the back of their mind, in the deep recesses of their psyche, he wants them to be thinking, man, Pittsburgh knows they can't beat us. We're going to take these boys lightly. They can't score with us. The same thing that the fans, most notably our own Nick Wright, is doing. That's what Ben wants. And here's what he's hoping, Nick. He's hoping that they can just keep it close. Keep it close because the Steelers are notoriously bad this year in the first half. They scored 22 points in the first half of their last 7 games. And the Chiefs are notoriously good in the first quarters. They're the best first quarter team in the league in scoring, right? But they kind of fade, at least they have this season, as the game goes on. And the Steelers get stronger. Let me see this graphic about Big Ben. Big Ben is a monster, Nick. in the fourth quarter. Look at this. Pretty pathetic in the first 3 quarters. But in the fourth quarter, he turns into the old Big Ben rather than just an old Big Ben. And if Big Ben is thinking this, let's just hang around.
That was a good. I like
Let's
that.
just hang. If we're within 10 points going into that fourth quarter, I got the magic, baby. I've led 52 game-winning drives in my career. That's second most ever. I've led 7 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter and overtime this very season. Just keep it close, TJ. Just keep it close, Minka. Just keep us in the game, Najee. And then I'll deliver in the fourth quarter. Wilds, that's what Big Ben is doing. It's much deeper than Nick Wright thinks. He doesn't see it. Nick Wright does.
So far, if we're keeping track, top 5 worst take from Nick, top 5 great take from Broussard. Well done. Just to speak on Big Ben, to give you the extra W here, Broussard, we just saw in Week 18 all of these teams that took the loser teams, that didn't sound nice, Wilds, that took the underachieving teams lightly lose. Packers lost to the Lions. Oh, but I know you're saying, hey, Packers didn't have anything to play for. Okay, did the Colts have anything to play for? Jacksonville came out loose and free and flowing like Trevor Lawrence's hair, and they lost. So I know we're thinking that it's psychological mind games, but I do think it's not all like sort of reverse psychology. I do think it's some of like, hey, guys, let's get out there and play loose, play fun, and see what happens. And it could end up biting you, Nick. Broussard makes a good point. Ooh, well, it might be upset alert time. He's feeling like Friday.
I'm just
upset
curious.
Alert.
Stressing out. You're
Hold
stressing
on,
him
Wilds.
out.
I just would like you to elaborate, though, because I feel like you only made half your point. You said Broussard had one of the best takes ever. You said I had one of the worst takes ever.
Yeah.
What's your issue with anything I said? Should they not be cautious with Tyreek Hill, who injured his heel? Should they not be cautious with Travis Kelce, who got a little hip stinger? Is that a hip pointer? Is that not something that is relevant for when the playoffs actually begin for the Chiefs in 9 days?
Cautious. I agree with being cautious, but you previously on the show, you're on the record as saying playing the Steelers actually better than the bye because it's good to get some cardio on the weekends. So, yes, I do think that you're taking the Steelers a little bit lightly, and resting your superstar
if I may just
players
follow up,
is probably a bridge too far.
If I may just follow up, I said it was better than a bye. I said it's just get some cardio in. 3 hours later, the quarterback of the Steelers said, and I quote, "We don't have a chance." And I understand you guys are going into, your Freud cabinet to explain what he actually meant. I'm going to, just like I took Tomlin at his word that he fell asleep during Raiders-Chargers, I'm going to take Big Ben at his word that they don't have a chance. So I understand you guys are boxed in, because Nick says it, then Big Ben confirms it. So I just think since even the quarterback of the team says they don't have a chance, the Chiefs should just be cautious with who they do and don't play. That's all. That's all. We'll see what happens, though.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.